Today's episode of the Music Production Podcast is brought to you by Feed. It's hard enough being a musician these days, setting up your own website, social media accounts, sharing your music, and then marketing. Feed helps you stop wasting time with digital marketing and grows your audience so you can get back to doing what you love, making your music. After a minute of setup, Feed's set it and forget it Facebook and Instagram advertising will do the work for you. Feed's unique algorithm will analyze the content that you're already creating and determine which posts work best for promotion. Your most effective posts get boosted automatically and your audience grows. Your promoted posts feel natural and authentic without being salesy. Learn more about Feed at tryfeed.co/music. If you like what you see, you can get $100 of ad credit by emailing nick@tryfeed.co with the subject line Brian Funk. So build your audience today with no additional effort. Go to tryfeed.co/music and get your $100 of ad credit by emailing nick@tryfeed.co with the subject line Brian Funk. Or if you prefer, click on the link in the show notes for this episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Music Production Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Funk. On today's show, I have Jesse McCormack, who has just released his new album, Solo, right back in April. Really cool record, made during the pandemic time. There's a cool story that goes along with it. Lots of great synthesis sound, organic instruments, and field recordings, and all kinds of nice stuff going on in there that really immerses you in the whole album and takes you on a journey as a listener. I'm excited to talk to Jesse to learn a little bit about what he's been doing and how he created this record and some of the inspiration behind it. And it's got a lot of personal edge to it. I think you guys are going to like it. You can stream it wherever you stream music. It's called Solo. And Jesse, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for the intro.
Hey, it's great to have you, man. I've been listening to your record. I like it a lot. It's got a lot of the things I love about music. So it's good songwriting. It's got lots of cool sounds and noises. And then you even got like organic instruments, natural, acoustic instruments. I hear some guitar in there and a lot of textures and stuff that really make it a world that you kind of go into. So yeah, I just want to tell you, I enjoyed it quite a lot. Really fun listen.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
So
Yeah, textures are like I think my favorite part of arranging music. Yeah, I like the other stuff too, but it's like when the songwriting is done and it's just I'm at the stage of just kind of like having fun with like textures, basically, like where the textures are bringing the song. It's a part I really enjoy doing.
I'm with you on that because, when you're getting the song together, you're still kind of wondering, like, is this a good song? Do I have the song? Is it worth working on? But there is that fun moment when you start decorating it and, putting the icing on the cake and you start to hear it evolve and blossom into what it's going to become.
Yeah. True. Yeah, it's a really relaxing sort of like step. Where you just kind of like let loose and experiment and see where sounds will bring you. You just go just go shopping for different things, and you're like, I'm gonna do this differently this time and explore. I love it.
Yeah, it comes across in the record. I read I guess like sort of like a bio they give on Apple Music about the album. It's a little background on you and like each one of the songs. And I thought the story behind it was really cool. And I'm glad I read it before I listened because it put me in the mind frame and imagine, I could kind of like imagine you doing it, going through it. I thought it might be nice to hear it from you if you tell us about the creation of the record, like the time and place. It adds a lot, I think, to the listening experience.
I think for me, what's like sort of like interesting about that record, it was made in a very different way. because like when the first lockdown hit us, I kind of was like I couldn't work in my I didn't have access to my studio anymore because everyone was so like paranoid about
Mm.
leaving their houses, and so I brought like the strict minimum. Like I had a computer, a guitar, a synth. I was just working on the ground in the basement of my of a chalet, and yeah, so that in itself was very like sort of like a revelation for me because I never went back after that to my studio. Like I still to this day work in my living room, and
Mm.
it's been 2 years now, and I'm selling everything I own because I just don't use it anymore. It's
Mm.
been so that's been a very transforming experience for me for the best, and yeah.
So I think something that bogs a lot of us down is collecting gear, getting the new thing. I need this for that to, this will be the
Mm-hmm.
thing that helps me write my hits. And
Mm-hmm.
we kind of use it as a crutch sometimes. But it seems like
Mm-hmm.
you had that limitation. How did it change the way you were making music, not having all of those toys around you?
Well, I own the Prophet 6, which is like
Oh, I
such an
have it right here.
amazing.
Yeah, love
Oh,
it.
there you go.
Yeah.
Such an amazing tool. I love it. I use it every day, and but at my studio, like I had like everything. You know, I had a piano, I had a Juno, a Jupiter, an MS-20, and
Mm.
Arturia, a mini Brute, an organ, whatever. Yeah, like you name it, I had. Wurlitzer, Rhodes, and I really dug into the Prophet and like all of its possibilities, and yeah, that was really amazing. Also started working with MIDI, which I hadn't done before.
Mm.
So it really opened me up on like also like I wasn't playing drums. I was like mostly making beats, and yeah, so like everything sort of became more electronic. So that was a big shift for me.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you spent a lot of the time getting to know like the prophet and understanding its insides. So that we're hearing a lot of that on the record then.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. A lot of other stuff too. Because like I did go back to the studio at some point, and like recorded more instruments, and I brought some other keyboards at home, but like a lot of it was like discovering new sounds, you know, because I was
Mm.
mostly I realized that I was just scratching the surface of what it could do.
Mm. I know when I was younger, and especially like as a kid, when you can't really get anything else, you tend to just dive deep into things. Before Amazon, where you can just return everything if you don't like it, or you can just keep adding stuff via VSTs and effects on your
Hmm.
computer. You really
Hmm.
learned an instrument. You got in there and you understood all its idiosyncrasies and the nuances and all
Hmm.
the problems, the
Hmm.
limitations, and found creative solutions. And I think more and
Yeah,
more
absolutely.
that inspires me. It sounds like that's the case for you too.
Absolutely. Like definitely lived that with the guitar.
Hmm.
When I was a teenager, you know, like didn't have any pedals. It was just the guitar and the amp. And yeah, I definitely lived that like 5 to 10 years epiphany of just playing guitar before discovering what reverb was,
Right. Yeah, you're
which
forced
sounds
to.
crazy when I think of it right now. Like
Hmm.
how did I go so long just to, you know?
I'm with you. I mean, I remember I was like 18 or so, and the first time we had vocals with reverb on it, like in a live situation. And I was just blown away. I was like, wow, it like gives us so much more authority on the mic. It makes us sound like huge and important. Just discovering
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Big discovery right there.
yeah,
Reverb.
I know, right? Now it's now used on everything. Funny enough, though, I've been finding myself backing off of it more in recent years, and I thought about that when I was listening to your record. It sounded like for instance, like a lot of the vocals to me sounded pretty dry. Like you might do
Mm,
like an effect here and there for emphasis, but there's a some of those vocals to me, I could be wrong, but they sound like naked almost. They're really close
mm,
mic'd and just they're not drenched in effects or hiding behind anything.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, there's. I think I used like different. I think on most of the tracks I used like different. Like there was always like this a big long reverb. Maybe it wasn't loud. Always a short one, and maybe also like a very short, very short one, like almost like a reflection
Hmm.
to like emulate like a sort of like a room sound, and like blending those three together. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like it I think it helped in making it feel like personal, intimate.
Mm,
Because sometimes when you
interesting.
cover something in too many effects, it there's a distance it creates from the listener.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting like hearing someone else talking about the record because where I'm standing, I know like it only came out a month ago, but to me it's like
Ancient history.
it's years old, you know. I
Yeah.
can't listen to it.
Right. Are you already working on new stuff?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got like can't really talk about it, but I have like music will come out probably end of summer,
Hmm.
uh, fall, and I working on another record
Hmm.
that's done. The writing is done. I'm gonna work on the production this summer,
Hmm.
hopefully.
Yeah, that's always kind of the way, and it's a funny thing when you're doing, when you're doing an album, and especially like the release. You've already been through it. You've already crafted it. You've already put your stamp on it, and then it comes out. It's kind of that similar to the effect that you never really get to hear your song for the first time. I got to listen to your record. I never heard of it. I had no idea what to expect, and I hear it in its full form. There it is. But you hear it piece by piece, layer by layer, inch by
Mhm.
inch.
Mhm.
It can
Yeah.
be hard to distance yourself from it to hear it fresh.
Yeah. It comes in waves, right? Some days
Mm.
you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. I'm proud, and other days you're like, oh, this is heavy. I wish I was another person. But that's like kind of like how I feel about everything.
Hmm.
You know, just like ups and downs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ride the wave.
Yeah. When you're in the band, you don't get to dance, you know, but you get to be in the band.
Yeah.
I thought I might ask you a little bit about some of like the organic stuff, the textural stuff in there. Like
Mm.
there's on a couple tracks you're talking about like LA and the water, and then you hear it in the background. You got like the sound of the
Mm.
ocean or the shoreline. I'm not sure sometimes if I'm hearing that as an actual recording or is that even like synthesized somehow.
Mm. Yeah. In the LA Sky song.
Yeah, LA Skies had it. And I felt like in various points throughout the record there was like nature going on around you.
Right, right. I think there's a little bit of that in A&E too. At some point, there's like a maybe like a crowd sample,
Mm.
It was sample from a sample I took from Splice. But I think in LA Sky, it's mostly like noise. Like
Mm.
I'm forgetting where it comes from, but it could have been like it's the Jupiter, or I don't know, like noise maybe from like a guitar or well, yeah, I see what you mean.
Hmm.
Oh, I did use the tape echo on that tune, and it's really noisy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the fun things actually about those tape echoes is you can kind of get a feedback on the noise of the tape. If you crank up the feedback control, your
Mm-hmm.
your tape hiss starts multiplying over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the Jupiter on LA Sky. It's I bought it from a in an auction in a very and it's very old, and it's always been in a really bad condition.
Hmm.
Like it's noisy, it distorts, and like the filter goes up and down without touching it, and so it's very like it creates very unusual sounds and unexpected sounds too.
Hmm.
So like all of the like the all of like the filtering the filtering sine waves you hear the, and like they're like distorting is just the synth. It's
Hmm.
cool synth.
It's got like its own personality then. It's aged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never wanted to. I, I like when I bought it, I was like, oh, it's in really bad shape. I will never repair it. It sounds so cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I've got an old Moog Realistic Concert Mate MG1 that I got at a
Okay.
synth store one at some festival in Brooklyn here. And I brought it home. I remember first playing it in the store. I put on the headphones, and like 25 minutes later, I was like, whoa, because it just sucked you in. And
Mm-hmm.
what I
That's
came to
good sound.
realize, yeah, right? Like whenever that
Yeah.
happens, I put them on, and 5 minutes later, an hour went by. So
Mm-hmm.
when I got it home, though, I realized part of the magic was part of the way it's broken. It's got that kind of wandering filter, and sometimes it makes weird staticky noises. Stuff that's
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but unique.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
can't wait for my profit to break.
Well, they have the vintage knob on those, the slop control.
All right. I did.
You know,
There's also an update, right? For that.
yes.
Did you do it?
Yeah, it did. It's
Is
really
it
cool.
apparently it's cool.
Yeah, so you still keep the old slop, it's called. And the
You can
slop,
switch between the two.
yeah, the vintage, though, is a little more like musical, I guess. What it's really
Mm.
doing, and as far as I can tell, it's messing with the timing of the filters and the LFO, just kind of randomizing it, and the pitch also. And I think the way it responds to velocity and that kind of stuff. So anything you play never sounds the same twice.
Wow. Okay.
So you don't have to break it. You just turn the knob. You don't have to like leave it in the rain or anything. You can just turn that knob, and it starts getting like this interesting character. I honestly like I don't think I ever use it without turning that knob anymore. It's just
Mm.
fun. Like you
Okay.
said,
Okay.
unpredictable.
Got to do it. Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
the tip.
Yeah, it's worth it. And you can always retain the old functionality. So you don't use it, you don't lose anything that way. But it sounds like something you'd enjoy if you appreciate the way things break down.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'm like that with like guitar strings sometimes too. Classical guitar I have, I don't like changing the strings on it because they get all dull and mellow and they sound nice.
True.
Hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hmm. Um, do you have any particular like techniques you like to turn to get these textures? Like when it's that time, when the songwriting's done and you're ready to sort of have fun with everything and put the icing on the cake? or anything interesting that you came across in the production of the album?
Mm. Um, Most definitely. Let me let me come up with a good answer.
Yeah, you got it.
Uh, uh, like I love recording I love recording like a MIDI track and then playing it through the Prophet and really finding the good sound I want and then animate it.
Hmm.
I love doing that. Do it all the time. Um,
You turn in the knobs as it's playing the MIDI for you, so you have your hands
yeah,
free. Hmm.
yeah. Even if it's like very simple, if it's just like a pad or sometimes like I'll even if it's like a really simple track, I'll record it anyways and like just mess with it till I feel it's right.
Hmm.
I love automating things. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of the music of the record.
There seem to be a lot of cool distortion effects that kind of
Yeah,
come and
distorting
go.
everything all the time for
Hmm.
sure. Yeah, yeah. I use the RC20 a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. The
Yeah, it's
that
on
multi
everything.
effect. Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's on everything. Sometimes just a little bit to give it character. Um, yeah, I'm distorting everything
Hmm.
all the time.
They call it, was it retro color? I think it stands for, right? RC,
Yeah,
something like that, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love the wobble function. Sometimes I have this preset. It's just at 1%, and it just wobbles a little bit from time to time. And for me, this that gives will give any sound, even like if the playing is dull, it'll give
Hmm.
character. It'll give like life to something that's really simple,
Yeah,
even boring.
right. Just that little unpredictability.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's
I
what
don't.
makes things boring is when it's too steady, too nothing's really happening. So when you inject a little bit of chaos,
Mm-hmm.
controlled chaos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
As a
I
guitar
don't know.
player, I've came to know distortion as like on or off. It's like if I'm playing, grew up on like grunge music, so it was always like clean guitar and then loud distorted. So it was one or the
Mm-hmm.
other. But I really appreciate the way you've used it in sort of bursts. So it becomes more like to just emphasize little emotional moments in the music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like Daniel Lanois.
No.
No, he's like he produced like really big records with the U2, Bob Dylan, Peter Gabriel. He's
Hmm.
from I think he's in LA now, but he's from a little town close in Quebec.
Hmm.
And just check him out. His playing is like it's beyond, and he plays the way he plays. He like sets his amp volume really loud, and then he'll play super quiet,
Hmm.
and he'll have such a big dynamic range. So like when he really hits the string, uh, it'll the drive, the distortion will really appear.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's like the
that's
inventor of that the Edge, the guitar play from U2, that delay thing.
uh-huh.
He came up with that. Daniel Lanois,
Oh, okay.
genius. Yeah, big shout out to Daniel. He's a really big inspiration for me.
Hmm. That's a cool idea because if you have your amp cranked like that, you barely even touch the strings and you get something out of it. And you
Yeah.
also have all that kind of like fury behind it humming along in the background,
Mm-hmm.
ready to go.
Yeah. I love to play loud. Like whenever I play, I have this Afro band I play in, and I don't know, everything's about playing so loud. Whenever I'm on a stage with a guitar, I just want to destroy everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's few feelings as enjoyable as plugging in an electric guitar and just playing a big power chord and letting it ring out and feedback.
I carried for years this huge 15 inches trainer cab.
Wow.
And that was my guitar amp. You know, it was
really
way too big, but that's all I had. Strangely, I never went for like a Fender Deluxe or whatever. And
heavy.
It was such a pain to carry, but it was so much fun to play. You know, wherever I got, the experience was like so immersive and like sounded so huge.
Yeah, man, music, like it's sound waves, it's touch really, you know, and feeling that is a big part of it. It's part of the rush, just feeling the bass, you know, in your chest, all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, I'm like worried I'll become deaf or something because I've been exposed to loud sound waves all my life. But take that away and it's like no more fun. So
yeah, it's smart to protect your hearing, but there is something that gets diminished a bit. You know, I haven't ever found the earplugs that are that clear where you don't really care, but yeah, some are better than others. But yeah, I know, like the irresponsible part of me just wants to crank it up and not have any protection.
I forgot who said that, but I forget where I heard that, but that something to the effect that you like the music, the context in which you play or write the music really is like has a big influence on the product, the music itself. Like if you're doing this really hard techno song, if you do it in a loud at a loud volume, it'll influence so much. And same with rock or whatever you're playing. Like you can't play a rock song at a very low volume. You know, it changes everything. The context, the room.
It's like another instrument. It's like a band member.
Yeah, totally agree.
Well, I know for myself, when I'm by myself making music, generally I'm quieter. Generally it becomes more mellow, sometimes darker. And when I'm with friends playing loud music, loud rock music, you know, obviously it's loud. You know, you're trying to play over the drum set, so you have no choice in a lot of ways. But you're also with your buddies, having a good time. So things become faster, sillier sometimes, and just a different side of me comes out. Now, you did this last one solo, as the name suggests. I think it said you played pretty much everything on there.
Yeah, like to the exception of little. I think someone came. This guy, Felix Petit, was there for one session or something. He added like this on this clap sound.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. Shout out to Felix. So did everything, yeah.
Did you find it came out much different because of that? Without other people around?
It did, for sure. Yeah, it's really something I've been thinking, like the music I'm writing right now. I've tried to surround myself with friends and like people I wanted to work with, because I felt like I kind of like hit the end of the road of not bouncing ideas with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be in introspective, but it has, it has its pros and cons and its limitations.
Right. In the band I'm playing with now, we kind of made it a thing where we weren't, because all of us write songs. We're not going to bring any of our ideas to the band. We're just going to play. And anything that becomes a song has to happen there. It has to be born of that spirit. And I think it was a great idea for one, because now it's just really easy to say we all wrote the songs. We don't have to deal with any of that nonsense. But it's also nice to just, like that's the whole point of playing with other people. If I was going to bring the songs I wrote in, I could just do them at home myself. But the things that come out of me are so different based on what the other people do in reaction to me, or even just that they smiled, or that I looked over and they were in the moment. It gets you there. And it's,
I agree. Yeah.
so I get what you're saying, that you want to do that because it's a whole other experience, really, making music alone versus together. And I guess, like, in human history, really, it was mostly made together. This alone thing is a pretty new phenomenon, really.
Yeah, I guess so. Like the first thing that comes to mind is like Mozart, who would like write. Who was deaf? There's like a big composer who was deaf.
It was either Beethoven or Mozart. I forget which one.
Okay.
I think it was Mozart.
Yeah, he must have been very lonely.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's just beyond my understanding how that works. How do you? I really need to hear what I'm doing to know if it's any good.
Yeah, and it's also like to me, it's a big mirror. Like it's a big reflection on just like how you want who and how you want to be in life. Like as an evolving human, how do you want to reflect on other people? How do you want to let people in? Which way you want to be in contact with other people, and I think it's really important to. It's a big reflection of the creative process can be a big reflection of who you are at that time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
In some way.
Yeah, well, I guess you've got a body of albums now. I'm sure you are able to see your different stages of life, just as a person, not even musically, just what you've been through, where you are.
Yeah, it's a bit like it's a big. It's like my journal.
Yeah. Bit like
I can retrace.
album.
Oh yeah. I was going through that at the time. And yeah, it's interesting. Never thought of it that way.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. Like big living proof right there. Big public living proof.
Right. This is what's happening. Yeah, I can remember being a kid actually listening to some records and hearing like a song come out and be like, "Oh no, what's happening to my artist that I love?" Like, are they going through a tough time, or are they gonna quit? Are they gonna pack it in? Because this song's so depressing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have this experience, but sometimes you can certainly kind of psychoanalyze yourself through your music, but at the same time, it's not it's not like a photograph where it's an exact replica of what's happening. There's you kind of get to also explore other sides of yourself, or even just imagine other perspectives in your music.
Well, I guess it's a safe thing to say that it's a part of you, it's a side of you that but it's certainly not you in your entirety. You'll be different. You'll be different if the song would have been different if you would have collaborated or whatever.
you're only collaborating with one little slice of yourself. You left the other
Yeah.
guy away. Are you doing any touring? I saw the video for All at Once, and I was actually surprised to see such a live band going, you know, all these different
Mm-hmm.
people. I thought that was pretty cool because, especially, you know, with the solo title, it was nice to see that coming together with a group of musicians and working so well. Are you
Mm-hmm.
working with a band now and doing any kind of touring
Well,
plan?
for now I have two formulas, but I'm really at the beginning of this whole live process. Haven't done much touring yet. We'll do, I think, probably after the summer. Like, I have a few shows in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I have we play as a two person band in a trio. Drummer and the other guy is doing like laptop. He's also playing harmonica. He's in the video.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely love I love having a drummer
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Love having a drummer and mixing it with beats. And we did a release party in Montreal that was a really amazing experience. We built well, I didn't do anything of it, but they built this big sort of like a reflecting rectangle that had all these LEDs that could light up in so many ways. I felt like I was in a rave. It was really cool. And yeah, I'm definitely into. I've also been collaborating with this guy, Cri, producer from Montreal, CRI, and
Mm-hmm.
we've been doing this huge like dance parties show, and I'm really into that high energy crowd. It's like it's firing. It's crazy. So the stuff I'm writing right now is a lot more. I mean, I'm gonna say it's a lot more energetic, but I think it's kind of something I've been trying to do for years, because I tend to naturally always go into into like mellow things and like sort of like melancholic
Mm-hmm.
vibes. But I'm pulling that way, you know.
Right.
Probably in 10 years I'll be a techno artist or something.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of us, you know, after being locked down and not being able to go anywhere for so long and go to concerts, it's exciting to go in that direction a little bit. I know with the guys I'm playing with, like all these songs we made, every single song is like pretty high energy, fast,
Mm-hmm.
loud, and it is a departure from a lot of the other stuff. The last thing I put out, right as things were locking down, was a total ambient record, really just droney stuff. And it was fun to explore that, but I'm like kind of, yeah, like I want to have more fun. I want to go out and
Yeah.
enjoy celebrating live loud music with people. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can relate to that. It's crazy how we I think, well, more like toward the end of the pandemic, like people have been, it's been less and less a taboo saying that it had such a big impact on our lives, that like I missed so much random encounters, and especially in the art world, not having access to all these events made me realize uh, the big impact. It's like, you know, it's a very large family, the music world and the art. I think the art world in general, because you get to meet so many people all the time, and even if you're not close to these people, they have a really huge impact on like your state of mind, your level of happiness, and basically your emotional stability, emotional balance. So yeah, to me that was a big realization
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to have it back for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of lean a little more introverted and a little more like a hermit lifestyle, but you know, you also need the balance. And it's been a good experience for me to realize like it's kind of nice to go out. You know, I think I got tired of it a little bit, but yeah, like you said, especially with like making music, making art, sharing it with other people and hearing what they're doing and getting reactions and all the playing live shows and just having these experiences together with people where the music isn't at the center. Really, really important and helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like the world is at a very, the world feels a very urgent, like a big urge to, we had a lot of time to reflect,
Yeah.
and sort of like also to make a big checkpoint in our lives. I think everybody did that. We all had time to like, okay, stay home, think about who we are, think about who we want to be, think about what we're doing, what we've been doing. Okay, like it's been a really good time, I find, to assess things, musically and personally. It's been really a big shift, I find, for a lot of people, but for me, for sure.
Well, you made a lot out of it, right? I mean, I think it's cool to see somebody that took that time and, you didn't, I don't get the impression that you were like watching Netflix the whole time and just vegging out. Like you went to work and did quite a lot.
I actually can't watch Netflix.
Yeah.
I just don't watch TV. I do it at times, but really it's rare that I'll sit down and watch a show. I don't know why. It's just not something I enjoy doing. And that's all I had to do, right? Stay home and make music. It's always been like a guy asked me the other day, what are your hobbies? And I was like, I work out, I read a little bit, and I play music. And it was hard for me to find anything else. So I think I feel a lot. It takes up a lot of space in my life, and I feel a lot of my time sometimes with music.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying. There are a lot of things you can do in the world, but some of them just become that thing, that obsession that you just want to get more and more of it. And it's like, music is just a never ending pursuit. You're not going to get to like the final boss ever and be done. So there's so many things like that in life. And I guess, sometimes you just choose one. You just choose the path to go down.
Yeah.
I think the album's really cool. I enjoyed it a lot on, like I said, a bunch of levels. Like the songs are good and the music is good. It's interesting. The production is fun and captivating and pulls you in. And it really feels like a whole thing. I think it's a hard thing for me to put my finger on what makes something sound like an album compared to what makes it sound like a collection of songs. But I get album from it,
Okay.
Might be the backstory behind it or whatever it is, but it worked out well. And I'm excited for you and how this gets received and, how playing it goes and then, whatever's next too.
Yeah. It's an ongoing process, man. It's, as you said, it's never ending. The day the record was released, I was at home and making music, and I'll always be so.
Just another day.
Yeah, it's true. It's like there's no. I think from the outside, things will look maybe bigger, but like when you're and I'm talking from like anyone's point anyone's point of view. But like even if you're like winning an award or like like nothing really happens. It's just like it's all little baby steps that led you to this thing, this album, this prize, this concert, you know, this big show. But it's carry on.
Yeah, my friend Adam Roxar, who I had on the podcast, he's a musician and visual artist as well, and he put it in a way that really stuck with me. He's like, my art, like whatever he releases, it's an artifact. So he's just going on the journey, and it's like he sort of like drops these things along the way, and that's his song, that's his, you know, cartoons that he makes, and I like that way of thinking about it a lot. So it's not, the goal isn't necessarily to release things and put things out. That just happens because you're doing it so much, and you just keep going, and then, you know, next thing you know, you look behind you and you got all this stuff that you've left behind, like artifacts, like a civilization would leave behind.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, what was interesting about the record isn't so much the music itself, but the way it was sealed, packaged with the artwork. It kind of allowed me to it allowed a second life to the songs.
Right.
You know, with the artwork, me carrying myself hugging myself, sort of like embracing my vulnerabilities and
like getting yourself through your own tough times.
And like and you know, that's where the title comes from. But it also allows me to sing them in a different way. You know, I'm not so attached to the heartache of the songs. It's more like, okay, it's like I've been through that, I'm healed, now they're just songs. Yeah.
So you're kind of like the guy that can tell your old self everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. In that sense, it's been a really well, this whole pandemic, you know, I think it's a reflection of like my life during the pandemic. You know, I've been doing a lot of therapy, and it's been really about like turning the page, and it really tells the story of that time. So yeah, I think for me it's really beautiful in that sense.
Yeah, I get that, and like you said, the cover, it's very supportive of yourself. You take care of yourself with it, which is really as much therapy as you can get. Ultimately, it falls on your own shoulders. No one's going to say anything for you or do the work for you. It really does have to be yourself. That's a cool sentiment that comes across. I like it, man. Very cool. Well, I want to keep, respect of your time, so we'll call it there. I know we can send people to your website is jessymccormack.com. We'll put links to that. There's also, you can see the videos we were talking about on YouTube, and you can go anywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, it's all there if you want to hear the new record, which I think you should check out. It's really cool. Anywhere else you like to tell people to go to check out your stuff?
Live. I got stuff on YouTube. Well, I think you said it. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Those are the platforms I use. I don't know. Some people use other platforms. I think my music's on there too. They will find it.
Yeah. Well, it's not hard to find. I was able to dig it up pretty easily.
Nice.
So cool.
Nice.
Well, thank you for taking the time, and thank you everyone for listening. Hey, if you enjoyed the Music Production Podcast, please consider giving it a review on your favorite podcast provider and share it with a friend, somebody that you think might enjoy the show and get something out of it. That would mean a lot to me. And if you want to check out more of my work, including sound packs, tutorials, etc., head over to brianfunk.com. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great day.